The Washington Post has dropped this stunning article. Hundreds of police have sexually abused kids. How do they avoid prison time? We're going to find out. Let's dive into it right now. You see, people like this, they abuse their power and take advantage of the vulnerable. Look at this article. They served in the police department, big and small. There were new recruits and seasoned veterans, patrol officers, chief of police. They understood the power of the guns and the badges, and in many cases they used that power and to find and silence their victims. Low. Sometimes when we get pulled over by these feds, you think that they know the law, you think all necessary checks were carried on to employ them. Well, it's far from it. Look at this article. Police and sheriff departments have enabled predators by botching background checks, ignoring red flags, and mishandling investigation. You think that they're doing the right things. You think that we're the bad guys and they're the good guys, but it's far from it. Look at this last line right here. Judges have allowed many convicted officers to avoid prison time. Why is that? Why? All the while, children in every state and the District of Columbia have continued to be targeted, groomed, and violated by officers sworn to keep them safe. Vile people. Here's an officer. Here's a picture of one of them. I'm going to show you some pictures. This one, James Blair, met a 13-year-old girl who ran away from home. He offered to help her with her schoolwork and presented himself as a mentor. Months later, court records show he got the girl pregnant. He was convicted in 2017. Look at this other creep right here. Neil Kimball of a Los Angeles County Sheriff deputy was accused of sexually abusing a woman after stopping her near a hotel. Prosecutors concluded there was insufficient evidence to file criminal charges. Kimball was still allowed to become a special victim bureau detective. Then he sexually abused a 15-year-old girl who case has been assigned to an investigation. He was convicted in 2019. Vile. Look at this other crime bag. Brian Hansen brought a 16-year-old girl who was interested in becoming a cop on a ride-along. According to state investigation, he sexually abused her in his patrol car and at the police shooting range. When Hansen pleaded guilty to statutory sodomy, he was sentenced to probation, convicted in 2022. Do you understand the abuse of power? You see someone with like a mask like myself and be like, oh, that's the bad guy. No, those are what the bad guys look like. They come in any shape and form. Cases like these are not unique. At least 1,800 state and local law enforcement officers who were charged with crimes involved child sexual abuse. So don't for a second think it's only the newbie cops that's doing that, only some of them. It's at all levels. All levels. Look. Officers charged with child sex crime worked at all levels of law enforcement on forces as big as roughly as 33,600 officers of New York Police Department and as small as 2-officer agency. You can see for yourself. Take a look at these percentages. 99% of the officers were male. 66% of arrested officers had more than 5 years of service. 47 of those arrested were chief of police, top sheriff, or other agency heads. At the top, nearly 40% of convicted officers were not sentenced to prison. Yes, because we want to know as well, how they know to target the children. Because what we're finding out, it's not really like family members or anything like that. Police and court documents show that abusive officers frequently spend months befriending and grooming kids. Many use the threat of arrest, physical harm to make their victims comply. This is what they do. These are the information that we've got on them to see how they meet the people and what they use. It's like on patrol, speeding tickets, domestic violence calls, rape investigations, suicide attempts, curfew enforcement, noise complaint, finding runaways, making an arrest, witnesses to crime. The list can go on. Let's have a further look. School resource officers, Boy Scout police explorers, youth cadets, drug abusers resistance education, ride alongs, police athletic league. The list can go on. Here it is. You can pause and take a look at it. Now, to show you how these guys are some real sickos, officers were charged with a wide variety of crime involving child sex abuse. Some officers face charges related to the possession, production, or distribution of child sexual abuse photos or videos. So there's actually a little cult, a little clique. They share these. They find it amusing, exciting, vile individuals. See, here are some charges against the officers. Charges against officers: 39% rape, 20% child sexual and abuse material, forcibly fondling, 19%, 7% online solicitation, and 14% for other. Try to find some more information on what other is. Such a wide word, but we don't know what that heavy 14% actually is. Like I always say, it's common sense before. Don't let, because they come with the motto, we serve and protect. They're serving and protecting themselves. Look out for you.